Movement as a catalyst for resolution. Perhaps internal conflict, especially where choices must be made, may be resolved by many small acts of infinitesimal change and moments of surprise and joy if we are receptive to them. There is a tension in not walking the route that was planned, and forging your own path surely involves the disruption of what is unthinkingly familiar. But the result is to carve out a route that serves you better. And through these contradictions between what we expected and where we thought we were heading, and the journey on which our desires carry us, we may then find ourselves in a different place altogether that is clear and free from doubt. Maybe we have walked our desire path towards resolution. And just as it may take the footsteps of many to make one physical desire path, perhaps it takes the witnessing of many small acts of unconscious movement to create an emotional desire path. This is part of a conversation with my son, a musician and a chef, about some of the experiences that formed the footsteps of his emotional desire path towards cooking. When I asked for help with this project, I was aware that a mother asking her son to talk can carry a weight to the request that may be difficult to refuse. So I gave him thinking time before his answer, and was so happy when he said yes. We agreed to walk and talk via Teams to give a sense of movement and to avoid the intrusiveness of direct filming. Although in the end this didn't work out quite as planned, and we sat and talked on Teams, and then separately filmed our favourite walks on our phones. This gave an added sense of reflection and agency to the footage. Much of my journey trod favourite pathways that had been familiar and formative for my son growing up, but I was curious to witness his steps into new landscapes of life experience, leading him towards an exploration of food. Here are extracts from our conversation.
Me and Dad going on our rose hip picking missions, or the blackberries or the elderflower. We've done quite a lot of it. Remember we used to go on our cycle rides and pick a whole bag full of elderflower and come back.
Yeah,
Rose
that's
hips
true.
on the side of the road and stuff. I mean, that has been interesting, moving to an urban area and kind of having to rethink out foraging. Because I can't, normally I would just go onto a copse of trees in the middle of a field or something. It's sort of the opposite. I'm foraging in spite of the community.
Oh, okay.
Rather than the other way around.
Because nature isn't meant to provide in the city, is it, in the same way, but it is sort of meant to in the country.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I feel like people don't utilise the natural world around them enough. These are all things that should be very familiar, really. I feel like you've definitely heard me say before that I feel like the state of the fridge reflects the state of the family. A full fridge is a happy family. I don't know. I feel like everyone should have at least a dish that they know that they can cook well. Everyone should have a dish they can cook for another person. Do you know what I mean?
So it's about sharing something.
I feel like food since the very, very beginning has always been about sharing, really.
It's interesting because I was thinking back over a lot of the things that you've cooked, and I suppose one of my really strong memories is of you always sort of feeding all your friends big bowls of noodles that you'd made up.
They all love ramen now. They're all obsessed. They've still carried it on. I found it interesting whenever I would meet people or people's parents for the first time. Be like, oh, this is Ollie the chef. That's how that was always the introduction. Well, not that was how the parents knew me. I was never Ollie the musician or Ollie the whatever, Ollie the producer. I
You
was
were always Ollie the chef.
always Ollie the chef. That's what I enjoy the most, really, though, is the physicality. That everything is so incredibly tactile.
Oh, that's interesting.
Touch is so important. I would hate to have a layer between me and the food, so I can't feel it. I'm always running my fingers along everything, and obviously smelling it and tasting it and stuff. But touch is once you've looked at it, touch is a very big part of it, and I like a job that rewards you for touching things.
Yeah,
I've been told off so much for touching and playing with stuff, and it's a career where you within reason you're meant to do that, and that's part of the development process. And competence is very addicting. Being good at something and feeling improvement is such an addictive feeling. And when the feedback from cooking is immediate, you get that, that hit of seeing that you're doing something better immediately, which is nice.
I suppose it's a good dopamine hit, isn't it? Do you think Dad gets the same thing out of cooking that you do?
Well, I always find it really interesting that he doesn't taste the food, he only smells it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's kind of his, not love language per se.
I think it probably is. That's his way of showing love and nurturing.
But I mean, it does though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it does. It does. And when he gathers us round to sit and eat together, it's his way of ensuring that we're all, we're all being provided for, and also it's time together, isn't it? I think one of my enduring memories that I always think back on a Sunday morning breakfasts.
Yeah, of course. I can smell coffee and bacon and Worcester sauce.
Yeah.
Burnt toast.
Yeah. Burnt toast. But also, I've sort of got this. I can remember times when your friends have stayed overnight, and you guys have all had a full Sunday breakfast, like a brunch, and that's been lovely as well.
It's an essential part of it.
Yeah. Well, it's that sharing, isn't it? I think that sharing time is, it's sort of important.
I think it is. It's definitely a male thing, as it's a bit more complicated showing affection to your other male friends. It's not. I don't know. It's just a bit more complicated. I feel like it's a very not easy, because that I feel like diminishes its value a bit, but it's a very effective way of showing love and closeness and almost kind of vulnerability in a caveman way, eating and sharing food. Honestly, conversely, I feel like some of my earliest memories really actually me sitting at the table hating food.
Really?
I mean, those memories don't last long. But I feel like that was quite a lot of my experience for the first period of time with food. It was meal times, at least they were a chore.
Do you know, that's so interesting, because I think I can remember when you were a toddler, not super young, but that kind of I don't know really, perhaps 3, 4. No, yeah, perhaps that sort of age, where you did get very restrictive with your food, and it was just, I would cook something for you, at about kind of 5 o'clock or something, and you just most of the time wouldn't want to eat it, or so we'd got down to you literally just having hardly any different foods like fish fingers or chicken nuggets or that kind of stuff. And obviously because I'm just cooking for you, I realized we were in this loop where I wasn't trying to cook other things because I didn't think you'd want them. You weren't tasting other things because you hadn't been given them, and we were stuck on this sort of loop. So whenever anything new was tried, it did become a battle. And I remember, actually, I don't know how long it seemed to be, like forever, but it probably wasn't really that long, I don't know. I do remember meals being really difficult, and then I think I read something or I spoke to someone. I honestly don't. I think I might have read something, and they said, well, it's better to eat together, and that did actually change everything for us, because I then ate my evening meal with you, and then cooked for Dad separately, because
changed my entire trajectory.
It probably did, because then suddenly
100%.
you saw I was eating, you thought, oh, okay, that looks a bit more interesting, and your whole diet completely opened up. And it coincided with supermarket had these little different fruit cards where we could collect, and every week we'd go to the supermarket and collect a card of a different exotic fruit, like
I kind of feel like I remember that.
Something. Yeah, so we'd collect the card, we'd buy the fruit, we'd try it together, and suddenly it did change things, and it was like a real cause and effect. Food suddenly became this really exciting thing that we shared. And for me, I think that changed it from something that was it was an awful battleground, and it was so dispiriting, because you need your food. You used to get really shaky and hungry and everything if you didn't eat it, so I was so desperate to feed you.
I still do, yeah.
Well, it's nice to think that food can be turned round. Experiences like that can be turned round.
I'm very lucky that you persevered with that, because the majority of people don't. And if anything, the parent just regress, and you end up joining me and eating chicken nuggets with me.
Yeah.
And that's what most people do.
You've got any thoughts about how you'll feed your kids?
Well, I'd like to sort of follow suit, really. I feel like having the Sunday breakfast will obviously always continue. And I like the idea as a dad of it just spending Sunday cooking for everyone.
Nice. I just remember, actually, my earliest memory of you cooking at school. I found the recipe the other day. Did I show it to you?
Or the garlic, prawns and scallops.
Yeah, you were 7. No, perhaps you were a bit older. Perhaps you were a bit older.
Been 9 or 10.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
We won the wooden spoon for it. I remember. We were in teams of 3 or 4 or something.
Were you? But
there was 4 or 5 teams, and my team won. Obviously, with my dish, yes. But we'd eaten it somewhere prior, recently or something.
Oh yes, Belgo's. We had a trip to London.
Oh my goodness, Belgo's, yes, and had the garlic prawns, the butterfly prawns.
That's right. Yeah,
Belgo. I think I probably remember it with rose-tinted glasses, but I was obsessed, wasn't I? That was my thing. The yearly trips to London were very important, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was between Christmas and New Year we went, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Christmas trips. That was a big part of it. That was a big. Made food feel special, and eating with the family special. I was really look forward to that.
That's kind of what I remember from my childhood. Was food was really important, because Grandad George used to be the one that cooked everything when guests came round, and at that time, things like in the 70s, things like spaghetti bolognese people didn't really eat that, which is so hard to believe now. So when he'd cook stuff like that, when all of the cousins came round, it would be just a really special gathering, you know, when you had those huge pots of food and there's just masses of spaghetti and everyone's sharing. And that was such a lovely feeling. And then the other thing he'd always do were curries. And I suppose because he had, you know, he'd been born in India and he'd lived in places all around the world and stuff. So he had a different experience of food in that way. But he was self-taught in his cooking. So it was quite a personal. That definitely, I would say that was your granddad's love language, if you like. Was that he loved his family and he loved cooking for his family, very much like Dad loves cooking for us and loves us, you know. And it's so interesting to see, isn't it, how it sort of those traditions, those values, have passed on through all the generations.
Oh, it's definitely it's an inherited language for sure. Well, so you learn what you see reflected onto you. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm sure my kids will pass it down to their kids because that's definitely the love language I'll be reflecting onto them.
Let our roots grow, not wide but deep, for it is far below the riches we seek. Let our guidance not be grounded by greed, but be generous in giving with our blossoming seed. Let our subsistence be the joy of our existence. Push back against the systems which nullify our wisdoms. Speak from the heart and make your art your own. You might be feeling lonely, but you're never alone.